The news was floating that the monsoon would hit Bihar on 22nd of June. We were all expecting it very eagerly. Indeed, it did break on that day. It brought a sigh of relief to all the plants and animals and all human beings, because we had been experiencing a long period of dry spell, hot spell. The temperature rose to about 47 degrees when the body is maintained at 37 degrees centigrade. So 10 degree higher than the body temperature. We felt very uncomfortable because the systems inside our body have to work at 37 degree, and so the body was coping with the stress of hypothermia. In order to maintain a balance, there were a few changes. A few changes had to be taken, and in the lifestyle, in our system of living, in terms of food intake, etc. But when there was a rain, it change brought some kind of change in the atmosphere, and all animals, microbes in the world, in this particular area, of course, took a sigh of relief, because greater amount of moisture means a lot. The fields become verdant, the atmosphere becomes lush green, the leaves washed, and they become greener, and the flowers look brighter, and so on. What environment does to our body cannot be assessed in a few minutes' time, because there are hierarchy of changes in the body systems. One affects the other. Let me give you an example. When the temperature shoots up to 47 degrees or so, the body becomes alarmed. Our hypothalamus is actually activated to gear up to that kind of adverse situation. And we begin to perspire. As a result, we lose some salts, and we have to take some salts to compensate for it, and then we have to drink a lot of water to compensate for it. The surface area of the skin rises. As a result, the heart has to beat in a stronger manner, pump a little bit harder, and when it does so, the heart feels a little bit, you can say, stressed, and that has to be compensated for by something. The food intake style has to be changed, and the secretion of saliva actually depends upon what kind of food we take and how much food we take, and the secretion of saliva depends upon the extent of secretion of salivary amylase, and amylase secretion depends upon the amylase gene and how many genes we have for amylase. Maybe I have 10 genes for amylase, and you have 20 genes for amylase. So this gene becomes amplified in different individuals according to situation, circumstances, and genetic makeup and food habits. And the secretion of saliva results in the digestion of carbohydrate, and carbohydrate has an influence on our appetite, because if you have more of glucose in the blood, you feel happy and satisfied, satiated. But if the amount of glucose is decreased in the blood, you feel hungry. Similarly, the loss of amount of salt in the blood results in thirst. So you feel thirsty or hungry depending upon how much of glucose and how much of salt is in your body, in your blood. All these things are related to environmental changes, and of course you cannot say that we are immune to or refractile to changes in the environment. Environment has subtle bearings in our body, in all systems, including activity of genes. Maybe our epigenetic system is influenced. Of course, I cannot say that the genes are actually changed. The sequence of the gene is changed, and it's not that. But epigenetic changes do occur, and the amount of transcription may be influenced by environmental changes. These epigenetic changes do take place. And here comes a time when you have to think a little about what Lamarck said about environment.